So that's the next project that I'm working on, which is called Train Big, for which we've tied up with Tata to provide the technology solution, by way of which, sitting in one studio in one place, we'll be able to have a completely interactive session for hundreds of students all across the country and try to give them a great education by way of technology, you know.
Super. You know, that's think big, train big, sorry, actually both, is what, you know, I think most entrepreneurs, anybody out here thinking of entrepreneurship ought to look at, which is scale. Very important. But you know, so, you know, he mentioned some time back that I can feel my energy and my mind waiting to pop out of my body. That's the animator in him, right? But one of the key things that he mentioned, I'm so glad he touched the dots and connected the dots, because the reason I asked that question is so very true, that to start an enterprise, to run an enterprise, you have to function in a horizontal plane. It's not a vertical plane. What do I mean by vertical plane, all of your engineers, technology guys? It's not about the domain. It's not just about your industry. It's not just about what your expertise is about. When you're here to start an enterprise, all those hands that went up, be ready to be creative. Veena mentioned it, Satyam is saying it, you've got to think out of the box, you've got to be in a horizontal plane. Yeah? And that's so very right and true. So, Satyam, tell us, let's rewind a bit. When you were in college, when you were in school, do you remember yourself being an enterprising person? I won't use the word entrepreneur. Did you bully around? Were you part of a political setup?
Yes, I've actually held positions in some kind of a student organization or the other throughout my school and college career. So that way, yes, I was enterprising, and I also remember when I was a kid in school, my dad would give me 15 rupees a day or something like that to go and have lunch, and I would often spend only 5 instead of eating a burger or eat a samosa, I guess. Not made by Sanjeev Kapoor's recipes, but and collect the rest of the money to buy some comic books and sell it to my friends, you know.
Sell it to your friends?
Yeah, I guess I'm not too proud of it, I suppose, today, but I have been enterprising in that sense, but I never really dreamed that I would actually become an entrepreneur someday. It truly did happen out of sheer boredom of being in a job situation, which was so not motivating for me. And I take that as a negative about myself, actually. I think whatever you're doing, whether it's a job or whatever it is, you should give your 100% to it. But that was a negative aspect of my personality, my mindset, which ultimately led me to be an entrepreneur, you know.
Super. So he saved money, he sold comics to other children. So as you're moving along now, you're talking about Train Big.
Yeah.
What I want to touch upon is another very interesting thing, you know, about serial entrepreneurship. My take is that being an entrepreneur is a specialization. It's not everybody's cup of tea, first. Second, what I'm seeing out here is, how would you describe entrepreneurship or, you know, your enterprise? Are you married to it, or are you in romance? Are you romancing your business ventures, or are you married to it?
I feel that I'm in the honeymoon stage right now.
So you're married.
Very much, very much. And I wish this honeymoon would last forever. Though often it doesn't for a lot of enterprises. And you can make the honeymoon last by keeping it dynamic. And you know what? You really
wish that could be true in life. How do you make the honeymoon dynamic?
I wish I could implement that into my marriage also. No, but you know, more than for yourself, you need to have the dynamism and honeymoon alive for your team, and that fresh aspect of them feeling excited about coming into work every day is not something which is so easy to keep going in terms of their energy levels, and that's why motivation is a very, very important factor. I try and make it a point to at least in a group or individually speak to every employee at the corporate level or every franchisee that I have all across the country at least twice a month, and have a good takeaway from what they're doing and give them a piece of my mind in a positive sense. And I think that has helped me a great deal in terms of knowing what's happening in every nook and corner of my company and keeping me connected with everybody. So that you can do only when you're married to your business. You can't do that when you've outsourced every function of your business to a CXO. And for them also, you need to have the motivation levels up and running.
Yeah, no, so I agree. The reason I asked that question of marriage versus romance, because there is another counter perspective to this, and I'm sure is, we in India believe very strongly in the institution of marriage. Anyone out here who's not going to get married? Come on guys, get enterprising here. No one going to get married? Sab shaadi karenge. Pakka. So, the point that we are coming to, Satyam, is, and the reason I asked that question is, you had mids going.
Right.
Now, and you were scaling up.
Sure.
And now you're looking at train big.
Right.
And to my mind, there's another gentleman in this world called Richard Branson, psychopathic serial entrepreneur, who has some 250 enterprises today, while he's flown around in balloons, raced in boats and all of that, owns a island.
Necker Island.
Necker Island, right. Somebody told me Necker Island. उसका Necker Island बना कोई island पे Necker डालता है. तो what's your take on this? So the point is, obviously he is not married to anyone.
Yeah.
And out here, is there this syndrome that we tend to get married to our enterprises to the point that we spend half our life trying to make it happen with it, and then another half to try and divorce, and that doesn't happen ever.
Sure.
What's your take on that? Because I just took the cue that you've immediately, it's been about 4 years since mids, looking at Train Big. Do you see a trait, and I saw the similar thing in Veena, she's been through so many enterprises. Do you see this as a trait of a true-blooded entrepreneur to apply himself or herself or the enterprising skills to various things rather than just get, you're restless by nature and rather than just get bound into one thing? Passion, yes, for everything, but...
Let me ask you a counter question. Is Ratan Tata married to anything today?
He's not married, first of all.
He's not married, first of all, of course, yeah.
Well, I don't know about Ratan Tata, frankly.
So I think that would be a good, comparison to probably draw in the Indian context with Richard Branson. I have actually read a decent bit about Richard Branson, and he's truly, as all of us know, and media has called him time and again, a maverick entrepreneur. And I love his book, Screw It, Just Do It. I think what he has done in the 40-year-old corporate career that he's had is he's built brands leveraging on the previous brands that he's been running, which have been instrumental in growing the next brand that he's been working on. So he's developed a great amount of synergies to develop a tremendous amount of wealth laterally as well as vertically for everything that he's been putting into the pipeline, which I think is beautiful, because unless it's exciting for him, he cannot be married to one particular thing. So maybe he's got these 210 wives, but he's somebody who's trying to love each of them just as dearly as the first one that he loved, though he sold a few of them by now. But I think you can be married to, or you are actually married to all your businesses, and in order to sustain them and in order to keep growing them, you almost have to keep moving laterally. Otherwise, it will be difficult to sustain even the ones that you have in a certain degree.